government employees are not intentionally trying to jam everybody up.
Yeah.
They don't sit around a conference room table trying to pick out how to screw everybody over. It really is about workload. It is about the industry actually understanding the rules.
Welcome back to From Dirt to Doorknobs, the podcast where we lift the curtain on the building industry here in San Diego and talk about some of the current things that are happening. Today, we're sitting down with one of the most effective advocates and coalition builders in our region. We have Amy Faucet, who is the president and CEO of the BIA, or Building Industry Association, here in San Diego, with a 30-year career that includes serving as chief of staff to Mayor Kevin Faulconer, deputy chief of staff to Mayor Jerry Sanders. Amy has been in the room where the biggest decisions in our city are made. She understands the government side, the business side, and the human side to building here in San Diego and to the housing crisis. Today we're going to talk about how builders, architects, and the city can all work together to solve our housing shortage, and why having the BIA in your corner has been such a game changer for its members. Amy, welcome to the show.
Great, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thank you. And I love the name From Dirt to Doorknobs.
Yeah,
that is excellent.
Really, it's an old saying that one of our old, actually our director of operations uses. He has a bunch of different terms that he says, and sometimes they catch, sometimes they don't. But I really liked that just because we are focused on ground up building new construction here in San Diego. So that just kind of resonated with me and kind of what we do. So
I hope you don't mind. I may use it myself.
Oh, please do. Please do. Please do. It's not, I don't think it's copywritten anywhere. So
okay.
It's free for use.
Great.
Love that. So for me, you know, Amy, you're a dedicated career in working here in San Diego at the highest levels of city government and Chamber of Commerce. Looking back, is there a specific moment or a specific thing that happened that really sparked your interest into your career path working with the city and now, you know, sitting in your current role as CEO of the BIA?
So when it comes to the city, I mean, everything is about communities and neighborhoods, right? If it's not small businesses, it's homes and housing development. And my first job actually was with San Diego City Councilmember Judy McCarty, and I was a community representative. And I would attend the planning group, the community planning group, and would see so many different developers come forward and just go through the community group, which can be excruciating.
I would imagine so.
So that's part of it. And the other part of it is when even when I was in Mayor Sanders' office as well as Mayor Faulconer's office, where they oversee the operations side, the Building Industry Association would come in and express how much things were hard to get projects through. And, you know, we'd ask, okay, you know, we don't do this all day long. What are the issues and what are the things that we need to change? And I don't think that it was always as clear. And so one of the things about transitioning from the city to the BIA is having that perspective of knowing that government focuses on multiple things in one day, to be able to translate what the city is saying and what a developer is saying, so that we can have an effective communication and solve for the problems that are blocking housing.
I think it's really cool with your background, stepping into the role that you're in with the BIA is kind of being able to see both sides of the coin.
Yes.
Right? You have the insight that developers don't have, that a lot of builders don't have. And, you know, just, I guess, what's one immediate takeaway where you felt that experience helped you into your new role drive immediate change or maybe shift directions of what the BIA is doing to work closer with the city?
So what we're going to be doing is I'm not ready to unleash all the things because we're still in the development phase from a policy perspective.
Can't show me all your cards.
And I just started 4 months ago. Is, you know, bringing solutions. So telling the city, knowing that I know how the city operates, and knowing now how developers operate and what their needs are, instead of waiting for the city or the county or doesn't necessarily need to be the city of San Diego. There's 19 jurisdictions in San Diego County.
Yes.
But to say, hey, this doesn't work, but this will work. And being able to tell the jurisdiction, the city or the county, that we think you need to tweak this, this is going to make things easier for development. as opposed to, so being proactive to bringing solutions forward, as opposed to waiting for the city to come up with the solution, or waiting for them to propose something and us kind of getting dragged by our nose by their proposal.
Right.
I find that bringing something forward is a lot more ways of getting what you need done than it is to be wait and react.
Right. Yeah, because if you never elicit change or have the conversations on how do we make this better, you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and the old rules don't always apply. So, and on a developer or a builder side of the table, we don't understand necessarily what we don't know as far as what happens behind the closed doors of the city. Not the closed doors; they're open, they're easy to talk to, but the decisions that are being made and how we actually can affect some of those changes and how our input ultimately helps them make the right decisions moving forward for the housing crisis. So I love that. I love, here at Cal Home Co, we're all about being proactive, setting realistic expectations up front so that everyone's on the same page. We're all working together as a team. Our clients are more like partners. Some of these builds are between 12 to 16 months. So you're almost in a relationship with these people at some point. Communication is key. Willingness to compromise and solve problems together is the only way we hit our targets, both on budget and timeline. And so ultimately, I think what the BIA has been able to do and has found so much success in is getting advocates and collaborators and people that are like-minded and all have a goal in mind of working together. That network and that community is really something that's changed the building landscape here in San Diego. My question for you is, as you didn't step into this role too long ago, but I would imagine it's very quick to identify some of the things you might be excited about in the next 5 to 10 years. What are some things that you're looking forward to as the CEO? And some of the things that you guys, maybe you can't share everything, but some of the changes that you see happening that we can all kind of look forward to as a city and community.
So, first of all, what our goal is not only to bring these solutions forward to make housing development more efficient and affordable, and doing so by being the thought leaders. So I think that one of the things that happens is as an industry, we make the assumption that government actually knows what we're going through and what our experience is. So educating and being that group that actually the regulators and the politicians and our civic leaders come to us and say, what do you think of this policy? What do you think of this? How will this affect? And really being on the forefront in that way. Also advocating solutions and bringing those forward. But also I believe our role is also educate the public, because we always think, well, let's go talk to the elected officials and government and they're going to understand and solve for all the problems. But they also have people they're accounted to, and those are the voters and the taxpayers. And I believe it is incumbent upon us as an industry to get out there and explain and define who the industry is. The industry is not just a bunch of developers. It's landscapers, it's architects, it's engineers, it's construction workers, it's the trades, it's contractors, architects, as I just said, master plan community developers, financiers. It's a huge industry that I don't think that people, they broad brush it and say builders or developers.
Right.
And there's so much more to it and so many more jobs that are created. And I think we need to, we owe it to the public to explain who we are and define who we are.
I love that. Yeah, and just making sure that information is out there and people do understand it's bigger than just building an ADU in your neighbor's backyard.
Yeah, and it makes it also easier to advocate. So it makes it easier for the elected officials. They're like, okay, my constituents get it and they understand it. So it makes it easier for them to not grasp it, but to maybe jump on board a lot quicker.
Broader strokes, just the bigger picture, and understand it's a collective movement, and we're all working together to make sure we're not building 50 units in a cul-de-sac at someone's backyard, but making sure that we're still taking the right steps to appropriately provide more housing here in San Diego.
Being thoughtful.
Being thoughtful. That's a good way to put it.
Thoughtful development.
And so, as you've seen, and you were drawn to the BIA, obviously, what are some of the things that you could say are the benefits on a day-to-day, for becoming a BIA member and becoming one of these voices?
So from being a BIA member, it's a collective voice, right? It's the home building industry's collective voice. And being able to get out there and it's from an advocacy standpoint. So you have a single point of people who know government and know regulations and know the building industry to get out there and advocate. You all are running businesses. You're building homes. You don't have time to go and educate and advocate elected leaders and government on what works and what doesn't work to make housing development more affordable. The other thing also is building on the talent of the industry. So not only we have mentorship programs, so really getting that talent built and so that we can continue on as an industry, and also business development. Getting to know each other within the different genres and work practices and trades and developers, like Meet the Builder. So we do advocacy, we do education, we do mentorship, professional development, and business development.
I love that. Yeah, and that's a reason why this podcast exists in the first place, is really to just educate people, not only on what does it cost to build here in San Diego, which I could have that conversation all day. That's where my expertise lies, but also drawing in people that we feel are contributors and big players in the industry, voicing for change, and not just standing up on a soapbox, yelling what they believe, but bringing a bunch of people to the table that are like-minded and have a positive outlook to the future that can actually help invoke some of these changes and these ideas. So I love that, and I definitely see the value, and I've met a handful of people in the BIA already that, subcontractors that are putting bids on our jobs that are helping us be more competitive, that are also trusted vendors within the organization. So that's been a huge benefit to us from day one. I also love that you guys have a program where you're going out to high schools and different areas and educating younger generations that working in the trades is an option, and that there's actually a lifelong career available. As technology is advancing and taking over in AI, trades isn't going anywhere. We still need the people in trades.
100%.
And so I love that you guys have systems in place to educate the younger generations, and hey, this is also an option, right?
Yep. And we did just launch, the board of directors just adopted, we're creating a new council, Professional Women in Building.
Heard about that.
And we're really excited about it, promoting women in the industry, mentoring younger women. So we are having an event May 7th. It's our kickoff event, and we are inviting high school and college students to attend. And it's going to be a great panel of women who work in the industry. So also working not only our professional women and builders, but we also, as you mentioned, the younger groups, which we have YGen, which is 35 and under. And they're actually a great group too, because not only because of the mentorship and the development, but they are also becoming vocal advocates. And so it's a different groups between the professional women and builders and the young generation that really are going to be huge with delivering the message that we need to educate the public from a grassroots perspective.
Absolutely. And I think it is so important I think that, in the building industry, I've been in the industry for 8 years total, but building ground up for the last 4 years. But kind of seeing that a lot of people are stuck in some of the old ways.
Yes.
That don't necessarily make sense for today's current atmosphere and what we're trying to do. These new set of eyes in this younger generation and their ideas and their ability to communicate socially and digitally, it allows messages and change to happen a lot quicker.
Yep.
So I think that is really cool that you have invested time into developing these younger generations and bringing, the women in the industry and their voices, because it really is due to a lack of a collective voice that I think that's how we get stuck in old ways.
Yes.
Or set in our ways. And that's like one of the things that we love to talk about is, aside from being a developer or a builder here in San Diego, and coming from working in the city and hearing that voice, maybe from one side of the table, right? How do you feel like the BIA's collective voice really adds value to the city and what they're doing, as far as coming from architects and vendors and also builders and investors, and then also members of the community?
It's the level of expertise. So having that collective industry that is experts in building homes. Like, again, one of the things that I found is the misperception of government is that they know about every industry. They don't. They are not builders. They're not developers. It's you all that, or us, the collective us industry. And that's where, and every single step, I don't think the public understands what every level it takes before a house is ready for to open the doors to a family. Or an individual, the different steps from permitting to actually just to purchasing the land itself. So all these different levels of expertise is how we can educate government. And I really believe that they do want to hear from us. They don't believe they know everything. As a matter of fact, it's quite opposite. But it's not government who are building houses, and it's right. The housing industry that is, and it is this industry that are creating jobs, putting food on the table, right, through the jobs. And so we are an important voice, and a louder the more we have in our industry, the more people speaking, the louder we are, the more likely that our message is going to resonate.
Absolutely. And I think that another important aspect or another seat at the table that we haven't addressed yet is just the general public, people that are living here in San Diego, and some of their viewpoints towards us trying to address the housing crisis.
Yes.
The NIMBYs or the not in my backyards, and the people that are advocating against what we're trying to do here, knowing that we have a housing crisis, but maybe not fully understanding that we have a housing crisis, and they're looking more, through a microscope at their own neighborhood, and they're going to lose a parking spot on their street, but not understanding like someone gets to live there and someone has a roof over their head, and we need more of that here in San Diego. I guess, what do you feel is something that we can do short term outside of just education? Because I think we're all doing our best to do that, and that's part of what this is. What are some of the things that we can change the mindset of the general public or the NIMBYs from what we're doing as disruption to actually building value here to our great city?
And that's a really great question, because it's one of the biggest challenges that we face as a community, collective community of all San Diego County is the constant fight with the existing residents, the NIMBYs, not in my backyard. It's unfortunately one of the things that's become a major obstacle for development. And I don't know how to necessarily solve the problem, because it's fear-based, right? It is the traffic. It's, I'm going to lose a parking space. Who's going to move in next to me? Well, I've got mine. Why do you need, go away? That kind of thing. Right. But what I do think is that we need to put a face to the industry. Like I said, it's not just a bunch of developers, rolling around in fancy cars. These are our neighbors. They're our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, our parents, our grandparents, our brothers and sisters, our children who work in this industry, and they need a place to live too. But they also understand and can speak to it. So I really think one of the things I do want to do is put a face to the industry, and I don't think that face right now is helps when it comes to a trust factor.
Sure.
Now, I don't think, can you completely alleviate the NIMBYism?
No.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you
That's
you
very
can.
optimistic thought.
It's very optimistic, but what we can do is we can put a face to the industry and put a little bit more trust in there. And that's what I think we need to do.
I think that's a great idea, and I'd love to see what you guys are doing.
Stay tuned.
In the near future. I will. I'll be on the edge of my seat.
Just give me another year.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, you've got some time. I won't hold you to any timelines. You're good. And I guess, one of the other things, we hear timelines for permits and dealing with SDG&E and like all the things that could potentially delay a project or become a challenge or a hurdle when looking to build. And if whether you're an investor or a property owner, you're just trying to provide space for an aging parent or build some passive income from your backyard. What do you feel like are the biggest bottlenecks, and how do we address those in the next few years together?
Well, the bottlenecks that I would say, the SDG&E, I will say that they had to, I've talked to them about it because they want to be more efficient. They want to make the changes. So, they went from 80 ADU clients, right, to like 400. Right. So they went really fast. The industry grew really quickly the minute the city and the state cleared the path. So we do have a committee that we have with SDG&E.
I sit on that committee.
Oh, very good.
So.
Okay. And we're going to get that started. Not started, excuse me. We're repurposing it, getting a platform and a plan and a goal set, so we can kick that off again for this year. But also, I think it's also understanding and there has to be some level of patience going. Right. One of the things that I've learned from being in government and also working in business associations like the Chamber is that government employees are not intentionally trying to jam everybody up.
Yeah.
They don't sit around a conference room table trying to pick out how to screw everybody over. It really is about workload. It is about the industry actually understanding the rules.
Right.
I'll short phrase it, DIYers, right? There's a lot of regulations that go into permitting and applying for entitlements and getting your permits, and it's complicated. It's not as easy as people think. So patience. Seeking expertise to help you go through the process, people that know how to talk government, know how to get through the process, but also patience, because government employees, they're working hard.
Yes.
And like I said, they're not intentionally out to double cross anyone, although sometimes people feel it, right?
But also understanding that change doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't. But just being prepared when you go in
for sure
is really important. And also, again, using the BIA and letting us know what type of trends or issues are popping up, like with SDG&E, so that we do have the contacts. That's what we're here for. We do have a loud voice and we do have access. And so we can raise these levels of concerns that the industry brings. Like, again, I said, you all are running businesses. You're building houses. You're running a business. You don't have time to track down somebody who's going to make a decision at City Hall or SDG&E or any other utility. That's what we're here for.
Right. Yeah, and I love that. And I've noticed the bridge in that gap through the BIA already, sitting in the meetings for the Utilities Committee and having SDG&E representatives actually there. I think it's very common, and sorry for saying this, my friends over at SDG&E, it's very easy for builders and homeowners to point fingers at SDG&E because it's a third-party company that, it's not my fault. It's this. I will say that after meeting with them several times, and I do feel that they really hear what we have to say in the committee from the members of the BIA that are voicing what we're hearing on the ground level and on the front lines, and they are making changes to their infrastructure, to their platform, to their website, to simplify, but also to give more information to property owners so they can track the progress of their work order, so they have more visibility into what's happening. I think that when people don't know what's happening, worst case scenarios pop into mind, and that creates chaos. So I think they're doing a great job, and I know they're currently working on implementing a few changes, which I think are going to be great for all of us.
Excellent.
So I've already seen the benefits and what can happen in a short term. And I'm really excited to see what happens, like you said, over the next year.
Keep raising the issues as they come up, and we have to be loud, and that's what the BIA is for. We're here to be loud.
Let's be loud together.
On behalf of the industry.
Yes. I'm going to jump into a fun little segment, which is our rapid fire questions.
All right.
They're quick, short answers, or if you want to dive into them a little deeper, you're more than welcome to.
I try and be succinct with my responses.
Okay.
I try.
We won't get too crazy. So we're putting the policy papers away.
All right.
We're going to get down to some San Diego relevant questions, and the great debate being California burrito or fish taco.
California burrito.
There we go. Okay. Your commute, stuck on the 5 South, trying to get downtown for a meeting. What's playing on your stereo?
Okay, well, it changes often, but right now, since I was just at Stagecoach, Hoodie and the Blowfish.
Okay,
and
nice.
Ghost Malone.
All right.
Yes.
I like that a lot. There's some range
Old
there.
school
There's some
and
range.
new school.
I love that. That's great. That's kind of how I float too.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge country fan. I won't turn it on, but if it's on, I won't turn it off.
Yeah,
if
well,
it's
they
good.
had some really great. I mean, Hoodie and the Blowfish and Post Malone aren't traditional country,
Right.
but they were at Stagecoach,
Yeah.
front and center.
And I know Post Malone loves country.
Yes,
so,
yes.
that's really fun. The Escape, best spot in San Diego to completely disconnect.
Oh, home.
Home.
Yeah, I
I'm
got to
the same
stay
way.
home. Yep.
Homebody.
Yes.
Yes. Shut the door. Shut the blinds.
Shut the door, close the
Turn
garage
off-
door the minute I pull in.
Do not disturb. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a homebody too, so I totally get that. I work in sales and I'm part of different communities, and I love doing that. But I've come to find that I'm a little bit more of an introvert than I thought, and I really do recharge my batteries when I'm at home.
That's good.
So,
Solitude isn't necessarily a bad thing.
yeah, you got to learn to love yourself and where you're at.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
morning fuel, whether it's coffee or not, what's the thing that gets you inspired every morning?
Oh, coffee is the first thing I do.
Got it.
Yeah, traditional coffee, half and half, and well, then I'll throw in a stevia.
Do you have a favorite coffee spot in San Diego?
I do like Starbucks.
Okay.
It's just easy and convenient, I gotta say.
And it's everywhere.
But I also do like Better Buzz.
Okay.
But usually what I do is I do bring it from home.
Okay. Nice.
My own home base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to do that as well. I don't have time to stop somewhere.
Or $5
Yeah.
a day.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Weekend Warrior. It's a Sunday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Beach, hike, or brewery?
I'm going to go with a hike and a brewery.
Do both. Finish the hike out with a brewery?
It makes me feel better when I'm sitting at the brewery that I went for a hike.
Yeah, there you go. You walked it off beforehand, which, that's great. I love that.
Less guilt.
Passport. This question is, if you could teleport anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Oh, I was just talking to my husband last night about where do we want to go on a trip. And we're talking about the Egyptian Nile.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's on the top of the list along with Africa.
Africa.
Gotta go. Those are the two if I could teleport right now.
Okay. Those are good places to teleport to because that's not a short flight.
That's for sure.
I love that. And then which San Diego tourist spot do you secretly love?
Oh, the tour. I'm going to go. This is a hard one because I like all of them. Coronado. I like to go to the Hotel Del.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a
Yeah.
little bit of a nightmare to get in and out of sometimes,
It is, but I do love it. It's nostalgic. It's historical. It's very San Diego, and it's on the water and the beach.
do you get over there often?
No, maybe once every couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did. I don't know if you got a chance to go over there, but they actually decorated the hotel it was like a Wizard of Oz theme.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because the
I missed
author
it.
actually wrote the majority of the book. He's a San Diego native, and he wrote the majority of the book while staying at the Hotel Del.
Oh.
And it was really cool. My kids love Wicked and the whole thing, and they had a bunch of different trees that were themed and a yellow brick road and music.
Oh, gosh.
They did, how they have like the lights in the trees? They had a whole, to the soundtrack of Wizard of Oz, a light show.
My
It was
gosh.
spectacular. They do really cool stuff over
They
there.
really do. They
and the
really do.
renovation's beautiful. They just redid
And
it.
it has a historical connection,
It has-
which is awesome too, because
Yes.
San Diego's got a lot of that.
Hits all those notes that everyone's
It
kind of
does.
looking
It hits
for. So
all of them.
that's a great tourist trap. And that's great. And I thank you for answering those. I know it's kind of silly, but it does
No, I
help
think
me
it's great.
get some insight into who you are as a person and what you like to do.
I'm
And
an open book. I try to be at
yeah,
least.
I love that. I want to open the floor up to you to talk a little bit about some of the things coming up with the BIA that people should be aware of, and maybe some information on how to get involved.
Yes. So you can always get involved by checking out our website. We have Builders and Associates, which is mainly trades, engineers, architects. We have a lot of committees from government advocacy committees. We have Specialty Contractors Council. We talked about our new Professional Women in Builders, the YGen, SDG&E committee. So we've got a lot of ways of getting involved. Our sales and marketing. Man, we've got so many different things. We have 30 events a year, from golf tournaments to networking events to training and education. And we're happening all the time, all year round. We also have our political action committee. So we raise a significant amount of money to be involved in campaigns. So 2026 election is coming up.
Yep.
So we're going to get involved in that after the primary. But we have something going on all the time, from advocacy to parties to golf to business development and education and mentorship.
That's awesome. And our goal here, our 10-year goal is to build 1,000 doors here in San Diego.
Love it.
By 2032, actually. So that's coming up, and we're well on our way. But I do think that being a part of the BIA and really being a part of this community and industry as a whole is the only way we're really going to get there. So thank you so much for being on our show. It's been a pleasure to have you. And
thank you
all the
so
way
much
over
for
to our
having me.
office.
Absolutely.
And,
Thanks for having me.
Look
It's been
forward
great.
to seeing what comes up in the next year or so.
A lot.
Awesome, Amy.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.